Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Coming up this week, Disney Cruise Line releases more of the 2017 itineraries. And since we're catching up on 2 weeks worth of news, we're going to talk about Rivers of Light at Animal Kingdom being delayed until May, and the resignation of Tom Staggs from his post as Disney's Chief Operating Officer. Also, we're going to tell you about a special event coming up where you could win a trip to Disneyland. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 880 for the week of April 12th, 2016. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hey everybody, welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends John Magi.
Hi everybody.
Kevin Close.
Hi everyone.
Jenny Lynn Knopp.
Hello.
Corey Martin.
Just happy to be here.
Back in the Nook, our producer, Craig Williams.
Hello.
Along with the very special and talented Mr. Steve Porter.
Hello.
And
You realize
his
every time he-
neck is, I think it's two. You got 2 more shows and then you're out of here, right?
Sadly.
Do you realize every time he says, "I'm just happy to be here," he makes himself laugh?
He
does, he giggles.
He's his own best audience.
There you go.
I don't know.
So, welcome to the show, everybody. It is great to be back after a stunning week out in California. We had such a great week out there. And before I get any further with the show, I have to say a very special thank you, special shout out to Maria at the Wonderground Gallery in downtown Disney in Anaheim. I tell you, this girl is everything a cast member should be. She just went above and beyond for me, finding some artwork I wanted, and just, you know, when I talk about cast members and what they should be a picture of Maria coming up with that, because she was just absolutely spectacular. I wrote a really nice letter to her boss because I was just so blown away by the level of service. And it was constant out there. I mean, it's just, sadly, a whole different world. But just a nice shout out to Maria. If you're out in downtown Disney and you're in the Wonderground Gallery, or I also ran into her in Vault Disney. And so if you're in either of those stores and you see Maria, tell her I said hello and thank you again. So with that, we have some other things in housekeeping. First, I want to renew my call for contributors. If you're interested in writing for the Diz, head out to our show notes page, dizunplugged.com, and you'll find a link where you can sign up. We need contributors specifically to write some articles about dining, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, Universal, and Disney Vacation Club. So if you want to write for us, we pay $50 if we publish your article, and do that through PayPal at the end of every month. So it's a nice way to make $50. And I know we've got some of our contributors, you know, get published a lot, and so nice little extra income.
Can I manage expectations before we go on that we do have pending articles? So we never notify people when articles are approved. They just go into like a pending queue. So just because you wrote an article and it's it hasn't been published, just because it's approved doesn't mean it's going to be published this month. It could be published next month. There were some that were published this week that were been in there for 2 months. So just be patient. We have a lot in there. We kind of cherry pick.
Well, it depends on what we need. Yeah. Honestly, need drives the content. So if we know that we need some content in this particular area, that particular area, that's what we go looking for. So, just understand that. But that's one of the reasons that I'm highlighting dining, cruise line, Disneyland, Universal, and Vacation Club. Those are more likely right now to get approved faster and put up on the site. So that's that. Want to remind everybody of the upcoming shows that we have this week. Just yesterday, the most recent edition of the Dreams Unlimited Travel Show, which featured Booking and Adventures by Disney Vacation. And coming up next week, the Dream Team answers your questions about booking Disney travel. So that's every Monday, disunplugged.com, or you can check out all episodes of that show, youtube.com/dreamsunlimitedtravel.
I just want to put a note in. There was a couple people on the boards today that said they were having problems downloading the show on iTunes yesterday. I double-checked it, went on, downloaded it myself a couple times just to double-check everything. So if you're still having issues, write to me directly, Craig, at wdwinfo.com, but it should all be fixed if there was ever a problem to begin with.
All right. Also, every Monday on iTunes and, of course, disunplugged.com, the Disneyland edition with Tom Bell and the Disneyland team. This week, Tom is reviewing the new Holiday Inn Express in Anaheim. Also, April is Connecting with Walt month. So this week, in a very special episode, Michael and Craig take you on a tour of the Walt Disney Studio in Burbank and experience Walt Disney's restored office suite where all the magic was conceived and planned. That will be up this coming Friday, disunplugged.com. And if you're on iTunes and you subscribe to this show, you'll automatically get the Connecting with Walt as a bonus. A little something for your weekend. And of course, every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, disunplugged.com, the Universal edition of the Dis Unplugged, which has no show this week. No show. Because I'm sick of Craig. And I'm sick of his show. Now, in fact, I told show.
I'm still kind of jet lagged.
I'm still jet lagged. I really am. So I'm a little punchy, and I don't have all my faculties about me at the moment. I told Craig to skip this week because he's been working hard and sending him and his wife over into a concierge level theme park view room at the Poly for a few nights. I'm making him work while he does it, but I'm allowing him to go do that.
Thank you.
So Craig will be on site this weekend at the Poly. So hunt him down, especially in the later hours of the evening when you would be most likely to be disturbing him and his wife. I would be perfectly okay with that.
Hey, they have to have a key card to even get in there, so unless they're already concierge.
They can throw rocks. They can throw rocks at the window from the beach.
My room number is 834.
Okay. Now, a couple other things I want to make sure I mention. Coming up on April 25th, we have something a little different that we're going to be putting up. Many of you ask about our 7 Resorts in 7 Days series and when we're going to do the next one. And I kind of made a decision this year that, we've done several of them and, I know it's very popular, but I kind of wanted to do something different. And the idea was presented and we've gone with it to do something else along those lines. And, we've talked about on the show how we're back in the theme parks all the time now. And one of the things I noticed was that, I'll go into Magic Kingdom, wherever, and I'll go around and be like, this isn't really good. And look at this going on here. What we do. We look for this stuff. But it kind of dawned on me back in February that, I see those things, I spot those things, but I love it. I still love it. I love being there. And I'm still a Disney fan at heart. And I feel like we've given a lot of attention and time over the years to the critiques. And I'm going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to do that. I'm not suggesting we're going to stop. I couldn't. There's no way I could ever do that. But I think I want to put a little more effort from time to time into talking about what we love. So on the 25th, we're going to begin launching a series of 4 videos. I'm not calling them shows because they're not. They are 4 videos that we produced last month where we talk about what we love about the Disney resorts. And this is going to be the deluxe edition. And we're starting out with the Contemporary, the Polynesian, the Beach Club, and Animal Kingdom Lodge. And what I did was I asked the team, what their favorite deluxe resorts were. And then I asked them why. And then we sat down and talked with them about their memories at those resorts, what it is about those resorts they connect to, why they like staying there, why they like being there. And I think what we've put together is special. I think it's definitely different than anything we've done before. And so that is going to go up on April 25th. And we're going to be doing some stuff on social media with it. And we're going to take that opportunity during that week or maybe a 2-week period to give away, I don't know, 5 days, 4 nights at a Disney Deluxe resort. Because we haven't given anything away in a while. And I feel like giving stuff away because it's especially fun to watch John's head explode.
How did this come back around? I was doing so good for a while.
So that's going to be coming up on the 25th. And while we're in the mode of giving stuff away, the reason that we were out in Disneyland this past week, these past 8 days actually, was to produce the next event. We did a 7 and 7 in Disneyland last year, and again, I wanted to do a different take on it, and we decided to kind of go in a similar vein, although different, with what we love. So we're going to be talking about our favorite things throughout Disneyland. The first week is going to focus on the 60th anniversary and what we're loving about the 60th anniversary. Second week is going to be talking about dining and what we love to eat. Table service, counter service, snacks. And I'm just going to say this now. We'll talk about it on the show when we do it. On my father's soul, there was not one thing I ate on this trip that wasn't good. At least good. If not, the number of times I caught myself going, okay, this is really good. I'm saying, I must be losing my edge. But on my father, I swear it, everything, the food was, I don't know, there was a time where counter service in that park was horrendous. They've done something. They got somebody new. They got a new cook. They got the counter service stuff was out of this world. I mean, and these guys will vouch. I mean,
I think the funniest thing was I think you had one bad thing, and you're like, "Oh, thank God it's bad because I can finally say I'm not getting weak."
Yeah, the chicken. It was the fried chicken. I think it was the fried chicken sandwich at the
River Bell.
River Bell. I was like, okay. It wasn't bad. It was like, okay, I can do without this. Yeah, because I was like, okay, at least finally one thing. But so the second week we're going to be talking about dining. Third week we're going to be talking about our favorite attractions. And the fourth week we're going to be focusing on tips from locals. If you're planning a trip to Disneyland, what you should know that the locals do. So that is coming up in June. But throughout the month of June, every weekday through the month of June, starting June 6th, we're going to be doing a Disneyland Trivia Challenge. And you're going to be able to sign up for that. Not yet. In a few weeks, maybe a month, you'll be able to start signing up for that. And throughout the month, we'll be doing these we'll be putting out trivia questions. And throughout the month, we're going to be giving away prizes. But the grand prize is going to be a 5-day, 4-night trip to Disneyland for 4 people at the Disneyland Hotel. So, giving more stuff away. We're going to give a lot of stuff away during the month. Got a lot of cool stuff. I won't say specifically, but I'll just say I ran into my friend Dave Avanzino, the amazing Disney artist who did the Disneyland shadow box that sits right behind me.
Oh, wait, the other side.
Yeah, I was... keep forgetting it's reversed on the screen. So maybe we'll give away something of Dave Avanzino's that month and other cool stuff that I came across while I was out in Disneyland. Like, ooh, that would be fun to give away. So it's going to be a fun month in June. So April 25th, What We Love About Disney Resorts Deluxe Edition, and through the month of June, our special coverage of Disneyland. So that, we've been busy This has been a very busy month.
If I take another photo of food, I don't know what I'm going to do. We made chicken nuggets with Ferris last night. I automatically took my phone out and took photos of it. It's terrible. I'm not doing it again. Not until at least May.
Yeah, I mean, we took, I want to say probably pictures of over 100 food items on this trip. And it's just the looks you get when you're sitting there.
Yes, I'm familiar with you all.
Exactly.
Can I eat now?
We've met.
So, yeah, we've been very busy, but it's been fun. I think we got some really, just taking a look at the rough stuff from Disneyland. It's like, oh my God, this is some really, really good stuff. We had a really good time doing it too. So that is what's coming up. What else do we have for housekeeping? Anything?
I do. I would like to ask everyone to send their thoughts and condolences to Teresa. Teresa lost a family member this morning. She lost her brother. And I just want her to know that we're thinking about her.
Absolutely. Anything else?
I just wanted to say, you already mentioned the one cast member at Disneyland, but it went beyond that. We had tons of listeners and supporters stop us all throughout the parks and downtown
pretty
Disney
cool.
and everywhere. There was one guy who I was filming Dumbo early in the morning on the last day that we were there, just trying to rush around, get last minute shots. And he screamed my name as he was circling around, and I felt so bad because I didn't have time to wait for him to get off and say hi. And there was lots of encounters like that. So for everyone who did say hi to us, thank you. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you again.
What I really loved was that when we were filming the parade, the Paint the Night parade, which, oh my God, that parade's amazing.
It's a great parade.
Filming that, and a couple listeners walk up to Tom and Michael. Could care less about us. Mm-hmm. I was so happy about that they were just all about Tom and Michael. That was really, really cool. I also want to give a shout out to Danny. I forgot Danny's last name. Celebrated his birthday last Friday. Ran into him a couple times. But he's one of our friends on Facebook. I'm sorry, Danny. I just wanted to wish you a happy belated birthday again. It was very nice meeting you.
John and I were taking the Behind the Seeds tour at the Land in Epcot one day. And we're standing there listening to the story about the world's biggest tomato plant, I think it was. And as we went by, there was a whole boat of people who knew us from the show. Oh my gosh, look, it's John and Kevin. And so John and I started looking around like, who, where?
Well, it's funny, especially in California, because I think they're just more like quote unquote celebrity focused. I'm in line to get something at the Food and Wine Festival, and no less than 3 different people walked up to say, "Oh, I love your show. I love it." And I could see this woman behind me, like, "Who is he?" And she's like whispering something to her husband, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, "I'm nobody you know." Okay. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. So, all right. If there's nothing else in housekeeping, we will throw it over to Johnny with a big news story that just came out this morning.
Hot off the presses, Disney Cruise Line releases the rest of up until September of 2017 itineraries. Again, just came out this morning. We don't know why. It's just through the end of September of 2017. We don't know why there's not the rest of those sailings out there, but hopefully we will see those soon. Just a quick overview, the Disney Fantasy will continue Eastern and Western Caribbean sailings through the end of September of 2017. The Dream will continue 3 and 4 night Bahamian cruises. The big news, of course, is the Magic and the Wonder that are going to be doing some special sailings. The Magic is going to be going back over to Europe and doing things like Northern European cruises, fjords cruises, British Isles, and a Western European cruise, including a transatlantic sailing. And the Wonder will be returning to Alaska, which includes several cruises that they're calling Baja cruises. But last year they were just what they were calling the California cruises out of LA down to Southern California and into Mexico. So very exciting. Cruises coming out. Announcement came out today. Tomorrow, April 13th, will be Gold and Platinum members can book these cruises, and then the following day they'll be open up to all cruisers. All guests can book these cruises. So, big day, big announcement, has us all flustered and busy.
Well, what's good about this announcement coming, a year ahead of the actual cruises, is that it gives you time to sell one or more of your children in order to be able to afford one of these staterooms. That's going to be the kicker, is what the price point's going to be.
Is that what Sophie's Choice was about?
It was. She was trying to make, yeah.
I tell people I saw it, but
It was about paying for a Disney cruise, yeah. I got to tell you, the 9-night Alaska, and this is the first time I'm seriously thinking about a repositioning cruise.
They're very popular. Let me go back and bring up what that itinerary is for that Alaska sailing, because I don't remember.
Well, they're going to. I know they're going to a glacier they don't normally go to, which is apparently a big deal.
The Mendenhall?
No, not Mendenhall. Hubbard's? Is it Hubbard's Glacier? Something like that. I don't know. They're going somewhere. But Alaska.
There's a 9-night Alaska sailing from Vancouver to Ketchikan, Icy Strait Port, Hubbard Glacier, Juneau,
I got it
Skagway,
right.
and Tracy Arm. That sounds pretty
And
cool.
Tracy Arm is just, or Tracy Heinrichs on a
Waving
glacier
her arm.
doing this.
Right.
Tracy's arm.
Tracy's Arm Glacier. Or fjord. Tracy's Arm has its own fjord. Yeah, and I'm actually excited about some of these cruises. I'm debating Europe or Alaska. I'm thinking I love the Alaska cruises.
We loved Alaska. We did. We thought it was a great cruise. I'm not that surprised with these. These are some of the same itineraries they've done in the past. They're very popular.
They've added a couple of
They have
switches.
a little different ports of call, but the nice thing is that Disney seems to have listened, because this is what people want to do. So good for them.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be crazy. And look, we say it all the time. Say it again. Book early, because the price of these, even tomorrow when it goes on sale to Gold and Platinum, the price you're getting for that stateroom at 8:00 in the morning is not going to be the same price you're going to get at 8:00 at night.
It's especially true for the one-off cruises, transatlantic cruises, Panama Canal cruises. These will all be going up in price by the minute. Things like the 7-nighters out of Port Canaveral, there's so many more of those sailings, they don't tend to fill as fast. But for these special sailings, you're going to want to get in on them fast.
One thing I noticed was the 3-night Dream cruises. They pulled a chunk out from June to July, and they replaced those with 5 nights on the Dream. So
A couple sailings out of Miami.
yeah.
So, cool.
All right.
Excellent. Our second news story, Rivers of Light delayed until May. The Disney Parks blog has announced that Rivers of Light, the new nighttime show coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom, will not be debuting April 22nd as originally announced, as the team is given, quote, more time to bring these innovative experiences to life.
Translated, we need to delay this to pay for Shanghai.
Or, it's new technology that's not working.
That's what my guess is.
Yeah, that's what
that
I'm
it's
hearing.
new technology. That's
I'm guessing
glitchy.
it was due to guest demand.
I guess so too. The article did not give a projected new opening date, but did say that it would be announced by May. Disney also released a preview video of the nighttime experiences planned for the Tree of Life. A projection show will, quote, awaken the tree, bringing to life all the animals that are carved into its trunk and branches.
Okay. I've been following this stuff for a long time. Disney would not have set a media event, which is still going on, by the way, for next Monday, the 18th, if this show had not been cleared. So I don't think it has anything to do with technology. I think it has to do with Shanghai, because these cuts and these scalebacks are rampant on both coasts. We were hearing about it constantly out in Disneyland, and of course we know what's been going on here. I think this is about Shanghai.
So you think there's an added cost to run this?
Oh, of course there is.
So they're not
Sure
going
there
to
is.
show it.
It costs them what, $30,000-$40,000 a night to run Wishes. So yeah, if they can postpone that expense for another month, let's assume
I
it
also
costs
think
them $25,000-$30,000 a night to run this. There's $1 million right there.
I also think they don't have the bookings. We have this big Awaken summer promotion that's trying to fill the summer months.
Nah, I think this is. I'm sorry. I've never seen this before, where Disney has announced a media event and announced a date to open an event, and then said, "Yeah, actually, no, we're going to wait them up." That's highly unusual. And with Shanghai in the mix and all the cuts going on in Shanghai, for me, it's 1+1. But I could be wrong. I don't have that on. I don't have that on
Still
any.
going to go?
It is still going
The
on.
media event's still going on. Yes.
Yeah, and they're still going to show us the
Tree.
Rivers of Light. But I mean, you wouldn't think. Look, if you're not going to invite all this media from
If it's not gonna work.
From everywhere, and then show something that's not 100%.
If
Because
they
it's
had
going
canceled
on
the
video, I mean, it's going to
if
be
they-
broadcasted.
If they had canceled the media event, then I would have said, yeah, it might be technical. But
I'm worried what they're going to do for the guests that maybe have booked their trip to see the opening show, and then what do they do for the people that say, like, I've already paid for my vacation because I wanted to see this? What are they going to say to
That's the
those?
same thing, though, is if an
I can't
attraction
I
breaks
can't-
down.
Well, it's the same thing as if I can't get Cinderella's royal table for
Yeah.
my kids. You know, my life is ruined.
Something somewhere tells you that this can be canceled for any reason. Basically, that they do that across the board.
disclaimer, yeah.
When you book a Disney cruise, it could be changed. The itinerary could be changed. Disney Legal has covered all of that.
Yeah, we've had trips to Disneyland where the fireworks have been canceled because of wind every single night of the trip. So it's always just a question of whether or
Doesn't-
not something goes off.
It doesn't minimize anyone's, expectations being shattered, but it's just the reality of it.
I don't think they're going to do anything to answer your question.
Okay.
The Thanks Shanghai hashtag on Twitter is hilarious.
It is.
People are like, oh, I tripped and broke my ankle. Thanks, Shanghai. Just everything's being blamed on Shanghai.
Well, it's well, we can get to more of the Shanghai discussion because I have some opinions on that when we get to that other news story. Why don't we just go into that story?
You want to go to number 3?
Yeah, I don't think we need to go on with this Phantom Manor one.
All right.
Unless you really, well, I know you like to talk about death.
Well, I had a joke about now the Haunted Mansion's full. But I,
Wait, you talk about death and then you pull up like the slide of Tom Staggs behind you.
Oh, my.
All right, I'll go to
Professional death.
All right, story number 3, Tom Staggs resigns. Tom Staggs, Chief Operating Officer of the Walt Disney Company, will be stepping down from his current position on May 6, 2016. He will remain, quote, Special Advisor to Chief Executive Officer Robert Iger through the end of this fiscal year. The announcement comes as a surprise, given that Staggs is currently the frontrunner to take over when company president Bob Iger retires in 2018. A statement from Iger says, quote, Tom has been a great friend and trusted colleague for more than 20 years. He's made important contributions to this company, earning wide respect, blah, 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 I'm proud. According to the New York Times, Staggs and Disney, quote, mutually decided to part
Yeah,
ways.
no, they didn't.
No specific reason for his departure was cited, though the article does say that in the past year he, quote, came under intense scrutiny by Disney's board. It became clear that at least some board members were not convinced that Mr. Staggs, 55, had the skills required to maintain Disney's creative momentum. Staggs has been with the company for 26 years. In a press release, Disney said, quote, with approximately 2 years left before Mr. Iger steps down as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Disney's Board of Directors will broaden the scope of its succession planning process to identify and evaluate a robust slate of candidates robust slate of candidates for consideration.
Well, okay. So here's my take, and what do I know? But Shanghai was his baby. Now, I'm not saying he was pushed out because Shanghai's over budget. I don't think that's the case at all. But Shanghai was his baby. I don't think the board ever intended to give this guy the job. I think the press, the fans, kind of said, yeah. I mean, cause he was Bob Iger's pick. He was Bob Iger's pick to succeed him. But my thought was, yeah, that would make sense. Bob Iger's been grooming him. He had, we had the blood feud between Staggs and Jay Rasulo to see who was going to get it. When Staggs got the chief operating officer job and looked like he was next in line, Jay Rasulo left, which was, in my opinion, no great loss to the company. And I felt Staggs would, be okay. I mean, but I look at it more from the theme park side of things. And I think, where theme parks are concerned, he hasn't been terrible. Hasn't been fantastic, but he hasn't been terrible either. But then I think when you stop and think about who could replace Iger, now that's a really short list of people. I mean, you take a look at the acquisitions of Marvel, Pixar, and Lucasfilm, and what those things, what that has done to redefine the company and what they've done with it. Then you look at everything else that's gone on in the company, whether it's in television, in theme parks. There's a really, 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 really short list of people that could do that job, that could follow in his footsteps. And, some people are speculating that he really doesn't want to step down, and that there was an article in the New York Times following up this article saying that, it's not unheard of for there to be this, really good succession plan and somebody to be picked, but the guy has no intention of stepping down. And then he pulls the rug out from under his protege, which some people are speculating is exactly what happened here. And I don't know that that's true.
You think Iger pulled the rug out under Staggs?
I think if Iger really, 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 really wanted Staggs, there's no way. I think he's just got too much power. He's got too much. I mean, again, look at what he's done.
Yeah.
And, Iger was Eisner's handpicked successor. But he had Roy Disney on the board pushing for him because Roy Disney wanted Eisner out. But they're talking, some of the names being floated. Sheryl Sandberg from Facebook. Okay, so you're gonna think about a woman that, granted, very talented executive. She built a social media company. Somehow she's more qualified to run this media company than Tom Staggs is? Something isn't right. Something isn't right.
I have no proof of this. This is what I have heard. I've heard that actually the decision was totally Staggs because he was asking the board for a guarantee of succession. And when the board wouldn't give him the guarantee of succession, that's when he decided to leave. That this was his decision
I think if that happened, I think he would have leaked that. Because what's gotten leaked is the board had no confidence in him.
Well, what I'm saying is that he knew that and was looking for the board to support him. And when they wouldn't,
right,
that's when he said, I'm going. I'm out because I don't want to stick around if I can't have that seat.
Well, I think we're in a place now where what could potentially happen here is we have the same kind of, I'm not going to use the phrase I was going to use, bad situation that existed with the succession of Eisner to Iger. Because if anybody remembers that, how ugly that got, with Eisner not wanting to leave, many members of the board wanting him out, Roy Disney running a guns blazing campaign to get rid of him. And, this time they wanted a much cleaner, quieter, more solid line of succession, especially with the company doing the kind of numbers it's doing right now. So this was kind of looked at, when Staggs seemed to be picked to be second, that, okay, Disney's getting the right succession plan together. It's all nice and clear. Investors won't have to freak out. And now it's all up in the air. So who they're going to get is anybody's guess. They're
talking about Lasseter's name has come up. They're talking about people from Imagineering. And you think these are
forget it. That would be you want to hear fans just dancing, see them dancing in the streets.
But you have someone who's very, very creative who I don't know has the business background to run the company. That's the dichotomy you have.
Could you imagine Lasseter?
Lasseter wine at the Magic Kingdom.
Exactly.
It will never, ever, ever happen. But just the thought of John Lasseter at the head of the company just gets me giddy.
Well, Barack Obama's going to be out of a job soon, so...
I don't think so.
Tom Staggs?
Yeah, Tom Staggs for president.
Maybe that's why he's not taking it.
Oh, he's going to be the one that gets the nomination at the Republican convention.
That what it is.
Yeah, they're going to tap him. It wouldn't be the worst choice they could make.
It will be an interesting thing. It's interesting to see what happens with the company.
Yeah, I love this stuff. I do. I forgot we were in California Adventure when the New York Times broke that story, and all I could just oh my God,
It was
really?
a shock for sure. Yeah.
I'm personally heartbroken over it. I really like Tom Staggs. I got to meet him once in 2010, and he was just incredibly down to earth. And
I've heard that
He is
about
down
him.
to earth
and
for sure.
in touch with the guests, I think. At least that was my impression anyway.
Yeah, he definitely. That's why I wasn't disappointed that he was being tapped as second, because he does seem to be a decent guy, and he didn't do anything. He hasn't done anything offensive.
No.
So, I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Apparently, that wasn't good enough for the board. They should have checked with me. But all right. Well, thank you, John, for that. And we're going to. I keep looking up at that clock. We have to at some point break down and put batteries in that clock.
It is 10 to 10.
It's 10
just
to
let
10.
y'all know.
I don't
It
know
was
if
10
that's
to 10 when you left, too.
I don't know if that's AM or PM, but apparently it's 10 to 10. We're going to move on to rapid fire. We'll start with you, John.
All right, big news. Disney Vacation Club has changed some of their rules for resale buyers. They posted on their website that beginning April 4th, if you buy a resale contract as opposed to directly from Disney Vacation Development, you will not have access to membership extras like discounts on shopping, dining, annual passes, and member-only events. This is now in addition to the policy they released a couple of years ago that said you couldn't use your resale points in the exchange market, and you also couldn't use it for Disney Cruise Line or Adventures by Disney Vacations. So they're sort of drawing the line in the sand that says if you want all of the extras that come with a Disney Vacation Club experience, you have to buy them through Disney at top price.
And I don't win any fans when I say stuff like this. I get it. I don't think that's terribly unfair. I don't think it's terribly unfair. I think if you're going to, the guy who buys his stuff directly through Disney and pays $160 a point, and the guy who buys his stuff in the resale market and pays $80 a point, yeah, the guy paying $160 a point should get something more.
It's
The
definitely
original
about
purchaser paid that amount.
What's that?
But the original purchaser paid
Right,
that
but the guy
amount.
paying it now isn't the
Right, but
original
if you buy a
purchaser.
car from somebody who
Right.
paid for the full price, they got a warranty.
Right,
You
yeah,
buy a
that's what I was
car
thinking.
within warranty, you get the warranty
Right.
with it. I think to myself, well, somebody paid full price for those points, so why? And for whatever reason, they've decided not to keep them. In my opinion, this is horrible. I think this is a crappy thing to do.
I see, and I don't see it that way.
It's not like there's somebody's knocked off DVC points and is making them in Taiwan. Somebody paid full price for those points. They're not just
And that person got those benefits. Now, you're reselling it. I mean, those benefits don't necessarily extend.
They definitely don't, but I think they should.
How much of a I'm not a DVC member, so how much of a savings is it compared from buying it from Disney directly to resale?
There could be a huge difference because Disney's current pricing is pretty standard across the board. There's difference in pricing from resort to resort, but when you look on the resale market, there's huge differences
Yeah.
between quote unquote less desirable properties because of things like membership fees and dues. For example, Hilton Head and Vero Beach have some of the cheapest points on the resale market. You're talking like $55 a point. And this is because their annual dues are so high per point because of the properties that they represent.
And they're on beachfront.
And
Upkeep is higher.
upkeep is higher. But the points can still be used pretty much in the same way as the person who buys $165 a point at Alani. There's some differences in how soon out you can book. There's a 7 versus 11 month window for your home resort, that type of stuff. But there's nothing to say that Hilton Head points can't be used at Alani. So that's what Disney is saying. Is just saying it doesn't seem fair to them that the person who buys these $55 a night points should have the same benefits as $165. Now here's the answer, folks. Buy a small contract directly from Disney. You get the perks. You get the discount you get invited to the member events, and then buy the rest on the resale market, which will crash. The resale market will see a crash from this. You're going to see some really cheap points out there, which I'm excited about.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too is the resale price doesn't have anything to do with what the original purchaser paid. The resale is set by
Supply and demand.
supply and demand. So, you
But
know,
Disney reserves the right of first refusal.
first refusal in
Correct.
order to make sure those prices don't go too low.
Right.
That's why I don't know that the resale market can crash because Disney isn't going to let somebody buy.
If they haven't got money to run Rivers of Light,
We're gonna go to Shanghai.
Thanks, Shanghai.
Thanks,
Shanghai. But here's the twist on
but
that.
I
I don't
just-
mean to drag this story out, but here's the twist on that. The twist on that is that there are restrictions within these properties as far as how far out these contracts go. So if they buy back 55 points from Hilton Head, well, they buy back points from someone who's selling at Hilton Head for say $55 a point, that's not saying they're going to get $165 a point for those points.
No.
Because they have to stay within that resort. So contracts end sooner at some of these older vacation club resorts. Again, dues are higher. So Disney's not going to automatically make $100 per point if they buy them back.
Right. No, I understand. I look at this from the same standpoint as the discussion we were having a few weeks ago about the early morning events and the, charging extra for early mornings, charging extra for staying after the park closes. You pay more, you get more perks. You pay the money, you get certain perks. I think the same thing applies here. That if you're going to pay full price with, you have an option to say, okay, I can pay full price with Disney and I'll get this discount and this perk and this member benefit. Is it worth that to me for, in some cases, a difference of $80 a point? And that for $80 less a point, you know what? I can buy myself a lot of stuff with that extra $80 that means more to me than the perks they're giving.
Something else to think about too is the discount on merchandise and things like that is the same as an annual pass holder.
Right. They
So
did
and it's also the same as Disney Visa card members.
Correct. And also things like, I lost my train of thought, but you can get Tables in Wonderland with DVC. Well, you buy an annual pass.
you get that too.
So you really have to weigh,
Right.
what's worth it to me? Is it buying from Disney or resale? Are those benefits worth it to me? And can I get it elsewhere?
And what they found was when they took away the concierge collection and they took away Booking Disney Cruise Line and Adventures by Disney, that didn't stop the resale market because people knew that those were not good uses of their points. That booking a Disney Cruise Line with points or booking an Adventures by Disney with points was not the smartest value. So now they have to take away something else to sort of keep figuring it out. So you may see more changes coming because they're going to want you to buy new contracts.
eventually I think you're going to see that only the person who owns the contract can make the booking and use it. They're not going to allow you to rent your points either.
That's going to get dicey because what you're buying is a real estate interest. So there are laws that govern that I don't know that. I mean, I guess it's always possible they could write that into a contract because there's homeowners associations that tell you what color blinds you can have. Right. But you get into a dicier area with that because you are actually purchasing a real estate interest, and the laws governing that are pretty strict. So
Yeah, but you can buy a house and not be able to rent it short term.
true.
Could be zoned for a certain thing. We shall see.
But they also have to consider at what point will they really piss off the existing membership?
No pun.
And
Well, there's the other thing too is I think there's some kind of mentality with people who do buy DVC that says, okay, I want this and I want to use it and I'm going to use it for my vacation, but I know that it could be rented or I know that I could resell it somewhere along the line. So while they may not think it's an investment, like I'll get my money back from it, at least they know that there's an out. And if people think there's no out, that might cause new purchases to drop.
yeah, well, it's very interesting. Very interesting. So, all right. Thank you, John. Kevin.
The new Adventures by Disney dates will be released April 20th. If you're a previous guest, meaning you've already completed at least one adventure, you can book April 20th and 21st. The general public can book on the 22nd. I don't know anything about new itineraries. People have written and asked us what our plans are. We definitely have an October 2017 China trip. I'm sorry, at this point it is sold out. I have a wait list. It's an extensive wait list. Joining the wait list now is probably futile. That's the word. I wasn't going to say fruitless, but it's futile is a better word. We're also
Unless we just add another trip.
haven't
back-to-back
decided
China.
that yet.
Back-to-back China trips.
That hasn't been decided or approved or given the green light.
I just want a cheeseburger.
I just like watching Kevin's face when I say things like that.
That also means a month in China.
I think it's also safe to say with these new, with the release coming out on the 20th, we're probably not going to see any new itineraries because Disney just released their Walt Disney World, Adventures by Disney just released their Walt Disney World trip. And that was the big new thing that came out. So other than tweaks to existing trips, I don't think we're going to see anything really big.
I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
However, I do know in years past when there was a new trip, Adventures by Disney sent some sort of teaser to folks who are members of Adventures Insiders. We haven't gotten one of those yet. If you want to book in your general public, you can book on the 22nd. Kevin at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Also, we have something planned. We're in the planning stages of something special for next summer. That's all I can say.
So start saving your money now.
So no, start speculating. They're going to get Walt back.
Right, we're going to get Walt back. We're going to rent out all of Disney World for 12 people. I love it when the folks on our board speculate. And then when they hear what we really have planned, they go, oh. And you think, well, you guys came up with some things that are impossible, so. But we do have something planned for next summer. I will probably announce it as if you're interested, sign up kind of thing, like we did with China. I have a feeling it will sell out very, very quickly. I don't have details. I don't have information. I don't even have a contract yet, so we'll see.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. JL.
There's a new ice cream parlor coming to the Boardwalk. The Ample Hills Creamery it will be going in, and they are known for their creative approach to all things ice cream. There's going to be samples are free, so that's cool. And their signature flavors are ooey gooey butter cake, coffee toffee coffee, malty salty pretzel punch, cotton candy, and then there's other and apparently there's a new flavor being developed exclusively for the Boardwalk.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Where's it going?
Well, they didn't specify that. I'm guessing in the Seashore Suites because that was closed down, but that hasn't been officially said.
My opinion, I don't want people messing with ice cream.
You don't want to make it too much weird stuff.
Ice cream's good as it is.
No, I had a popcorn flavored ice cream out in Disneyland that really kind of changed my life. It was
Popcorn,
amazing.
That's interesting. Oh, the other thing about this one's supposed to have a window where you can watch them make the ice cream. So.
I used to say that about the castle. Don't mess with the castle. It's good enough. But I kind of like what they're doing with it. With the nighttime shows and stuff. Anyway, my turn.
Enough about you. Let's talk about me.
All right. The changes in FastPass Plus system are now official. The changes that we reported last week, 2 weeks ago, with the FastPass, say that fast, are now official. Guests can now book between 1 and 3 FastPasses initially. Instead of being locked into booking 3, you also have the ability to choose the times that work for you instead of the system automatically assigning a time for you. Once you have used the initial FastPass or the time frame has passed, you can now then use your My Disney Experience app to book another one. Previously, these extra FastPasses could only be made on the website or in one of the in-park kiosks. These changes were effective April 10th.
It's big.
It is big.
Big that you
great.
can pick your own time. That's going to be huge. And now being able to do it on your app.
I also like the fact that I'm not forced to choose 3 because sometimes I just want 1. And I know I'm taken up, but it won't let me just choose 1. I would have to choose all 3 of them. And I know I'm taking up a FastPass that somebody else may want. And given some of the issues with it, I'm glad they finally fixed that. And also not having to go deal with those kiosks because, I mean, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes those kiosks are a nightmare. They're a nightmare for the guests. They're a nightmare for the cast members. So,
And if you get stuck behind one person that doesn't know how to use it, you could be sitting there for like 10 minutes because they don't know what they're doing. And then,
well, that's true all over Disney World because if you get behind somebody who doesn't know how to walk through a turnstile.
Well, that's true no matter where you go.
Hillary
I
Clinton.
always get behind the lady in Publix who waits till everything is in the bag to decide she wants to write a check from Sweden.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me once where I'm in the express lane at Publix. It's 10 items or less, cash only, or no checks. And this woman's got 20 items and writes a check.
And coupons.
And I'm like, did you not learn to read? But yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about, Steve. You get stuck behind that person that is ticket challenged, turnstile challenged, whatever the deal is. They just can't seem to handle the task at hand.
John Panette used to say that he would walk into McDonald's and the person ahead of him would get to the cash register and start reading the menu.
Thanks, Shanghai.
And he'd say, "You didn't know what you were getting when you left home."
All right, thanks, Corey. Craig.
Okay, so Disney has finally announced, well, not finally, because I don't know how many people knew it was coming. Wow, I can't talk today.
I can't either.
D23 Destination D Amazing Adventures will take place November 19th and 20th at the Contemporary Resort. I think it was 2 years ago in November was the last Destination D event that was held there. And basically, for people who don't know what it is, Destination D is like a D23 expo that's more focused only on theme parks, the Disney parks, and it's for much, much, much nerdier people. I mean, this is like extreme, intense Disney fans that will get a kick out of this stuff. So the way they're describing it is, since Walt Disney first brought his groundbreaking true life adventures to the big screen, adventurers have played a pivotal role in Disney entertainment, from the Jungle Cruise and Pirates of the Caribbean to the new planet of Pandora, which will soon be unveiled at Animal Kingdom. The presenters and panelists will include Marty Sklar, Tony Baxter, Joe Rohde, Chris Merritt, Jason Grant, Wyatt Winner, Don Hahn, and Becky Klein, with probably a ton more announced. But some of the sessions that they've announced so far look pretty awesome. A glimpse about soaring around the world and Rivers of Light, and kind of a behind-the-scenes look at how they're making those. Explore the origins of Animal Kingdom. Joe Rohde will probably have a say in that. Magic Journeys, 45 years of Walt Disney World adventures, a look back at Walt Disney's true life adventures, and the art and adventures of Mark Davis. So tickets for that go on sale on April 21st. If you're Gold and Gold family members, it's $190, and for general members, it's $250 each. Anyone that gets in, it's all panels. You have guaranteed seating, unlike the D23 Expo, where you might wait hours in line and then find out that you can't get in. This is guaranteed for everyone. And if you have lots of money, then you can also buy the Wilderness Explorer VIP tickets, which will give you early access to merchandise, which would most likely be the Imagineering merchandise that they have been taking to all these events.
Oh, but that's
now.
not fair. I want to pay $50 and get all those same benefits.
Well, you don't. And
Not the same thing.
Okay.
you get an exclusive evening experience to be held on the night before it starts.
Are you booking it now?
And
I'm booking the room now.
Oh.
I'm
No.
getting my room at the Contemporary.
Once you buy that ticket, you can sell it for
Craig is
whatever
reading
you
the
want,
rapid fire, and Pete
and
is
you're
booking
still
his
gonna
room
get the same benefits
right now.
that's how things work. We went to the one that was in 2014 or 2015, and it was incredible. It was an
We were
amazing.
very jealous that you guys
I
went
am
to that.
so sorry I missed that one.
Yeah,
that
we're
was
not
the
gonna
one that
miss
was
it.
all about the World's Fair.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry I missed
very
that
jealous.
one.
That was amazing, too.
So if we need a volunteer for one of us to go, I'm
You
going
were
to throw my
supposed to tell
hat
me
in the
it wasn't
ring.
that great.
I also think this is their answer to those of us who don't think it's fair that stuff doesn't happen on our coast. That a lot of the D23 stuff happens out on the
didn't-
West Coast. So I think that this is one of their ways
They've
of
definitely
responding
started
to
doing
that.
more stuff.
Right.
There's no
They seem to
question.
alternate every year.
But didn't they say they weren't going to do one this year? I thought I remember hearing that they said they weren't going to do it.
This was a late announcement. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the last time it happened, they announced it basically at the same amount of time, but it seemed weird that they've been waiting so long to get this out there, considering 2 weeks ago they already announced the 2017 D23 Expo dates. Regardless of when it was announced, I think this is going to be amazing. I almost prefer it to the D23 Expo, actually. Shorter. Don't have to wait in lines. I get to sleep, but still get entertainment. It's all good.
There's a D23 next summer?
I'll go to that one, too, if anyone needs me to.
Oh,
Just
Let the
saying.
you
speculation
don't think you're going to be running
continue.
yourself ragged on that one? You got nothing coming.
All right. Thank you, Craig.
Kevin turned into Charles Nelson Riley.
There are worse things you could be. You could be Rosemary.
Don't. Steve, go ahead.
In celebration of Earth Day, Jiminy Cricket will be making a rare appearance in Disney's Animal Kingdom from April 17th to the 23rd, and he'll be available from 10:30 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. I didn't think this was that big of a deal until I read some of the comments, and people were saying that they book their trips around this because they love Jiminy Cricket.
What?
Yeah. There's comments. People saying, yes, I planned my trip from the 23rd to the 24th just to see
They're
Jiminy.
the ones who are
And
going to
Rivers of
complain
Light.
that Rivers of Light wasn't fun. Jiminy Cricket is not that rare. He comes out every Earth Day. He's
Okay.
kind of like the hedgehog or the groundhog.
I'm confused. Why does this say Eartha Kitt Day?
Because Craig is in charge of the slides.
Oh, okay. I was
Oh,
like,
I'd
why?
much rather go to Eartha Kitt Day.
Too.
Rivers of
I
light,
was like, what does Eartha Kitt have to do with Jiminy Cricket?
That was a light.
Thought they were going to put out like the
Oh
Emperor's
my
New
gosh.
Groove
I
or
would
something.
love Eartha Kitt Day. She played Yzma.
Yeah, she did. That's why I was like, are they bringing in an Emperor's New Groove here too? But okay.
Unfortunately, Eartha Kitt's not with us anymore. I'd still do something.
We can still have a day for her.
That's right. Big glasses and off-the-shoulder furs. I'm all for it.
All right. Thank you, Steve. I want to just take a couple minutes and talk about, now that I booked my hotel rooms for the D23 event, and we got yours too.
Thank you. Exciting.
I just want to talk about just a little bit about the time we had in California. It really, for as much as I've been out there, you'd think at some point I'd get tired of it, and I just don't. And I don't know if it's me or just my mood lately or what, but it just seems to get better and better every time I'm there. Really got to enjoy a lot of the 60th anniversary stuff, especially the fireworks and especially Paint the Night. Paint the Night blew me away. I just thought it was out of this world. But those fireworks with the projections on Main Street and my room, I had a room on the 14th floor of the Frontier Tower at the Disneyland Hotel, some of the only ones that have balconies. And I had this absolutely stunning view of the park and the fireworks. One of the things you will experience when you watch our coverage in June. We did something very cool with our fireworks video.
I have a side question. Did you like the Frontier Tower better than the Disneyland Tower?
Fantasy.
I'm sorry, Fantasyland Tower.
Yes.
Did you hear her?
I was considering a response. Yes, I did because of the balcony.
Okay.
Because of the balcony, it was the same. I had the same room. I had that Regal suite, that with a 2-room suite. Mm-hmm. But this had this massive balcony, and sitting out on that, I made sure I did that the last night we were there because I'm like, don't get to do this very often. Sitting on that balcony, I cranked the television up so I could hear all the music and stuff from the fireworks and watch the fireworks from that balcony. And it was, and especially watching the project, because they do projections on Main Street, they do projections on the Matterhorn, they do projections on Small World. and being able to see the projections on the Matterhorn from my room, and this incredible fireworks show,
So cool.
just beyond. And I mentioned it before. I got to say it again. The food, table service, counter service, snacks. I'm not overselling it here when I say 2 or 3 steps above Disney World. 2 or 3 steps above. On counter service, it's about 8 steps above. But even table service. The food was just... It's locally... one of the things somebody was telling me is that they locally source a lot of their stuff. And...
All the stuff at Walt Disney World is grown in the land. That's what they used to tell people.
Well... I don't know that that's true. But a lot of the stuff served at Disneyland. Now, look, when you're making macaroons, I don't think you're locally sourcing the coconut. But I just think I think that came through. Maybe I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's their F&B guys are just light years ahead of their counterparts in world. I don't, and look, we've got some great restaurants here, and we've got some great stuff. Every damn thing I put in my mouth, I was like, oh my god, this is incredible.
Do you think it's because they can focus on less and really,
Yeah.
we have such a big property and so many resorts and double the the theme parks, or including,
And then we got
let's
water
add water
parks.
parks too.
Yeah.
But
I understand from one perspective thinking that, but stop for a second and think that what's the difference really? Are we talking 15 million versus 30 million? After a certain point, you're still having to make an awful lot of food for an awful lot of people.
Also, everything is run locally at Walt Disney World. There's someone who oversees the park. There's someone who oversees food and beverage in that park. So it's not like there's one person in charge of the whole property.
But there's
also
also
think-
another factor that I've always noticed, always talked about, but for some reason, I don't know if it's me or if it's something out there that I've noticed on this trip, and that is the intense level of pride those cast members have in their park, their resorts, everything they do. Like I said, Maria from the Wonderground Gallery, for God's sakes. This woman had real pride in her work and had a real sense, a genuine sense of wanting to give good customer service, going above and beyond. She didn't have to call me. I didn't ask her to look for it and call me. I was happy I was going to go home and, call the number and see if I could order it. But she found it. She took the initiative. She held it for me. And she was, there's a pride there that I just don't see here.
I also,
can't we just get a corn dog cart? I mean, how hard is that?
Well, it's
all Corey
beyond
wants.
it's beyond that. It's all the unique food choices they have there. Like the last day, I got food that I never had before. The chimichanga and the chili lime corn that is at basically all the carts around the park, but I never took the time to actually get it. And it is now officially one of my favorite things. Probably not the smartest thing to get right before we were getting on an airplane. But
Said the person sitting next to you.
yeah.
Who was
Pete.
me?
Who was Pete? But stuff like that. And then like the Matterhorn macaroon. Such a simple dessert, but just amazing. And serve it at Jolly Holly Bakery.
Jolly Holiday.
Did I not finish the word?
Jolly Holly.
Jolly Holiday
jet
Bakery.
Mint
Step
juleps.
outside and just take your picture with the
Oh, yeah.
macaroon.
The Lady
in front of
Julep,
it.
which is now what we call Rhino, by the way.
was just gonna say
His
that.
name has been changed to the Lady Julep
That's appropriate.
because all he did was strive for the mint juleps
Those
that they
things
serve
are-
at Disneyland,
I can't-
non-alcoholic.
I can't judge that. Those things are amazing.
you know, it's also good. The strawberry bundt cake from
Oh,
Lady
yeah
Julep.
Jolly Holiday.
and I got the coolest opportunity, the Lady Julep, right? I wanted one of the parasols made. I was going to have that put on it, but it was closed. The thing was closed because it was raining.
I think we should get him a costume, like a drag costume with a big floppy hat. And
The
he
Lady
can be
Julep.
Lady Julep.
The
Sorry.
parasol place was closed because it was raining.
Well, because they painted on, and they won't dry.
Silly, doesn't it? You're selling umbrellas.
Anyway, one of the videos you'll get to see in June was like honestly, of all the Disney experiences I've had, this was one of the coolest. They let me back into the candy kitchen in the candy store on Main Street. Talked to Rob, who has, I think his name was Rob, 46 years. And he's the head baker. He's in charge of all the baked goods that on the candies and things like that are made at Disneyland. And I watched this man make Rocky Road. And got to film the whole thing of him making the marshmallow. This was the first time in my life it occurred to me that someone has to make marshmallow. That marshmallow can be made. Like, I don't know if I thought it grew on trees or what it was.
Locally
It's
sourced
like-
marshmallow.
I was just thinking the same joke.
And he's making this, and he goes, and I'll tell you what, it'll be the best marshmallow you ever tasted. And he wasn't kidding. It was like, it was not what we buy in the store at all. This stuff was so good. And so getting a chance to watch him like make the marshmallow and then make the Rocky Road, and he's kind of explaining to me what he's doing. And I'm just, it was, it was so cool. It was just, I had such a great time. But experiences like that, just these moments happen throughout, these little surprises like that Matterhorn macaroon.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, because it's a macaroon in the shape of a Matterhorn, and it's topped with white chocolate. And I took a bite of it. And I was just like, oh my God, this is absurd how good it is. It just, everybody was like, oh, and they had to like bring out more. It's like bringing it out and we're taking a picture of it. Like everybody like wants the Matterhorn macaroon. We went back to that bakery twice.
Yep.
Just to get the macaroon, the strawberry bundt cake. They had this little bundt cake and strawberries. And I don't know. I don't know if they're putting crack in this stuff.
And the tomato bisque was awesome. Like the
Oh, yeah.
spoons were too small. I just said, forget it, and just kind of.
Well, the
tipped it up.
Jolly Holly got me saying it. Jolly Holly Bakery does these sandwiches, these cool little sandwiches, and one of them is this grilled cheese and tomato bisque that Corey loved.
I love their
that.
tomato biscuits.
It really is
Incredible.
good.
Yeah. I think part of their food is because they do have so many locals who go over and over again that I think that to keep them buying food, they have to really up their game, right? I hate to say this, but I think World is people are going to buy that hamburger no matter what because they're there and they're
World
hungry.
does is World has restaurant factories.
Yeah.
Not every food station cooks their own food.
Right.
That's different.
Yeah. I'll just say that this was an amazing 8 days. Probably 8 of the best days I've spent in Disneyland in a very, very long time. And that's saying something because I always have a great time. But this was special, this trip. And I was so blown away by the absolute sheer tonnage of content that we filmed and photographed and wrote on this trip. And so I'm very, very excited. Very excited for June and to release this stuff. So I don't know. Anybody?
Yeah, I'll say I was impressed by like the cast members' connection to the legacy. There's a lot of people that would say like, "Oh, I worked for a guy that knew Wald," or the kid that was 26 that wrote the Carthay Circle tour.
Yeah, the assistant waiter. We're having Friday night. We're having dinner at Carthay Circle, and we had the premiere room because we had a big group, and so we had the private room to ourselves, and it was really cool. And the assistant server. Michael Bowling is talking about doing the tour. We're saying, oh yes, the general manager had taken him on a tour of the restaurant and like kind of explained all the historical pieces that were in there. And Michael is talking to this assistant server. His name was Ryan. And Ryan's like, oh yes, I know. I wrote the tour. He's 26 years old.
That was awesome.
And we all stopped, and he goes, I'm a really big Walt fan. And Michael went, I mean, it was like pearl clutching, it was like, Walt fan. And you look at this 26-year-old kid who is so invested in the history of what he's doing. It was really cool.
He gave my Backstage Magic group's tour in December around the Carthay and then 1901. And I mean, first off, you wouldn't even think he's 26. He walks around touting himself like he is much more professional and definitely more professional
Well,
than I am.
you can be professional at 26, just
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. 29, I'll get maybe around 32. I'll get there, but that's
He's
still
done
a
our
few
tour
years
too.
off. Yeah, no, just absolutely fantastic.
And fascinating.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you find somebody who elevates even what they're talking about.
Corey, did you get the pork chop?
Yes, I did. Incredible.
Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
Well, we didn't even mention that the California Food and Wine Festival was happening while we were out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
The California Food and Wine Festival happened while we were out there.
Very
And
mature of you, Craig.
Again,
Very different experience.
That's professional right there.
Yeah,
And professional.
Let me step in. Very different experience than ours. Now, unlike 6 years ago when the last one was done, where they just added extra food items to the existing counter service, this time they actually had kiosks, and I think there were 8 of them, if I remember correctly. And, very similar to ours, each one offering, 3 different dishes and wine pairings and some dessert items. And while I like ours, and I think we've got some really great food at ours, I found the portion sizes to be significantly larger
Nice.
at this. I found the prices to be more reasonable at this. And I found the quality of the food to be far superior to ours. And again, I went off on a thing about Voodoo Sticky Pig Wings not too long ago. I got a new thing now. Apple bacon whoopie pie. That was one of the items they had. And up on the Diz Unplugged Facebook page, I did a little vlog with Mary Jo, Nancy, and Tom from the Disneyland team, where they were trying the apple bacon whoopie pie for the first time. We had a good time. You should check that out. That was kind of funny. But again, virtually everything I tasted from their food and wine was like, wow, this is really good. What was your favorite thing, Craig?
I honestly
Steve?
don't.
The 3 cheese mac and cheese.
See, Steve was ready.
We had
Why couldn't
almost
you be ready?
one of every single thing.
Steve's
It's hard to
26, though,
remember.
right?
What?
Professional.
Steve's 26, right?
24.
He's almost professional.
Yeah, he's almost professional.
He's almost there.
Corey?
The shine's
Mine actually changed. Like from the day we covered it, I enjoyed the seafood items, the tuna poke, and also the shrimp shrimp cocktail. But I went back on Saturday, and there was a filet with chimichurri sandwich, and it was made so fresh. I think that's my favorite.
I remember mine now. I liked the vegetarian burrito that was made with cauliflower, and everyone thought it looked like eggs.
You're getting evil with me because that was the only thing I hated because
No,
of the cauliflower.
That
It
was
was infested.
no, it was
Sounds
spectacular.
good.
It was
Infested with
amazing.
cauliflower.
It was amazing, and the
Disgusting.
portion size was so huge. I
Should be
mean,
outlawed.
it was almost on Chipotle burrito level.
Whoa,
Bird's Eye is
whoa.
now making buffalo cauliflower that you can steam in the bag.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Just saying.
So, all right, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. We're obviously going to go into much more detail when we do our shows in June, but I will just say if you're in the California region and can get to Disneyland, they're doing their demonstrations for food and wine on the weekends, but the kiosks were open throughout the week. So they're billing it as weekends only, because we only expected like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday it would be open. But we were surprised when we went in on Monday into California Adventure and the kiosks were open. So, but if you can get out to California Adventure any weekend this month, go check it out. It was absolutely fantastic. And not the obscene crowds like we have here where, you're going to be in line for 30 minutes waiting to get anything. So really awesome. Go check it out. And go to Disneyland. Just go to Disneyland. God, go to Disneyland. It's so good. It's so worth it. I want to go. I'm already trying to figure out when I'm going back. So, all right. Well, that is going to do it for our show for this week. It is really good to be home, though. So we will see you again next time with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, everyone. And remember, apple bacon whoopie pie.
Thanks, Shanghai.
Thanks, Shanghai.